The boring method is simple. First of all, rinse and repeat your mistakes to turn them into your strength. Second of all, build your fight IQ by watching active and passive content. And third of all, mind techniques from high-level fighters. I personally use that method still, and a lot of, if not all, high-level fighters are using this technique to get good at combat sports. So now let's first talk about rinse and repeating your mistakes. Now, for example, you're in training. You see you have problems with landing your cross, your kick. Maybe you have problems with getting hit with a hook too much. Whatever, you just see you have a weakness somewhere or you have errors somewhere that you need to fix. Now, how do you fix them and become really, really good at this? Now, what you do is you are in training, and after the training session ends, okay, I want you to just put out your phone or notepad, whatever. The phone is probably the best, it's easier to access, and just write everything down that you did wrong this training session. Everything, okay? I got hit with this. Everything that you just have in mind, write it down, okay? Maybe things that you didn't do wrong, but maybe you can just drill, okay? Maybe it's nice to know. You know, everything you can learn, you need to do better, and so on, okay? And now what I want you to do is not just drill in the studio. You will see a lot of fighters saying this. Training is not just in the studio, okay? We train physically there most of the time. We do pad works, yeah, we drill there, okay? We learn in the gym. But if we just learn in the gym, we do not get all of the benefits. We cannot get all of the benefits if you just learn in the gym. So what I personally do, and I know a lot of fighters do, is after training session, take 10-20 minutes and just drill. Or generally throughout the day, I personally take 1 hour, that is not my normal training session, where I just go on my heavy bag and I just drill stuff. I just drill mistakes that I did, okay? See, maybe I have problems with landing a kick. Now, first of all, I need a solution for this problem, okay? So when you have a high fight IQ, you can develop solutions for those problems. We will talk about how to build a high fight IQ from scratch in the next point here. But in general, you then need to find a solution, first of all, for this problem. So maybe you just get it for yourself, or you again search online for solutions. A lot of YouTube channels out there, my YouTube channel, a lot of others' YouTube channels. And so you just find solution online. When I do not know what I can do, I go online, find solution for this, because a lot of things are accessible online. Or again, I just think myself how I could solve this problem. Now what I do simply then is go on my heavy bag or shadowboxing, you don't need anything for it, and just drill it, okay? Just put in the reps over and over, okay? Over and over and over until it's ingrained in your mind, and not just do it one day. If you see again you cannot completely do it, then do it the next day. Do it the next day until you feel that the weakness turns into a strength. And now that's why it's called the boring method, because you do it rigorously until it is your strength. And you do not go to the next thing and the next thing until it is your strength. Not the best thing of you, but you can do it, okay? It does not need to be the best technique of you. It does not need to be perfected, okay? But it needs to be better than before, and a lot better than before, that you can say, yeah, this is not a weakness of mine anymore, I can do it now, okay? It's maybe not the best technique of you, it's maybe not the best technique of all time, but just that you feel it's better. Personally, I drilled something, it was not a mistake I did in training, but I wanted to learn the Ukiyosa low kick, okay? The Ukiyosa low kick to uppercut. So personally, I went on my heavy bag, I filmed myself, also do that every time, film yourself whilst you're doing this. And then I give you a tip in a second what you can do also to make your technique better. But personally, I filmed myself, I was on a heavy bag and I want to drill this technique. Now I saw that my technique was really, really bad doing this Ukiyosa kick. I could just not do it. So then I drilled. I put in a lot of reps, okay? This day, yeah, I got better this one training session, but the next day I did it again. And just because of sleeping as well, you process a lot of things when you sleep, you know, you can do skills better. But just generally, the next day I was better, and then I drilled it again, and then I was not perfect, I did not perfect it, okay? I'm not perfect at this technique, but a lot better than I was before, and I can say I can easily do this technique now. So this is how you get better. Rinse and repeat until it is your strength, okay? Until you can do it, not again the best technique. And now another thing is film yourself, and then with the film thing, compare it to a high-level fight, okay? So when you want to get clean technique, you can use CapCut, literally. I use CapCut, not for edits or something, but I use CapCut and put the video of the best fighter or of the high-level fighter on top and my video down there, okay? And then I compare frame for frame when they throw their hook, for example. I put myself throwing a hook I did that for learning elbows, you know. I did a lot of kickboxing, not Muay Thai, so I wanted to learn elbows. And so I had like, I don't know, Superbon, a video of Superbon throwing an elbow and myself throwing an elbow. And then I compared frame for frame and I saw, yeah, he's doing his hand like this and he's doing it like this. And I did my elbow kind of like this, where I like put my hand to wear it out, but like Superbon is like drawing his elbow really tight. All of the things I noticed when I watched this, compared frame by frame, okay? So compare yourself frame by frame and film yourself. Filming yourself is probably one of the best things to elevate your skill level. And if you do not like what you're seeing when you film yourself, then just become better, okay? And rinse and repeat until it is something you like. So now the next thing of the boring method is building your fight IQ. Now building your fight IQ with active and passive content. Now what do we consider active? Active content is probably the best thing, again, to develop your fight IQ. I personally develop a lot of my fight IQ through active content. So what that means is you go on YouTube. You search for 1SC, kickboxing. You search for boxing fights. You know, you just search for any fight, MMA fights, whatever. You search for them, and then you watch them. And I want you to remember some things that I'm going to say you now. The first thing is have a question in mind, and that is, how can I beat this guy? Now you watch a fight. You see somebody dominating. Okay, you watch a fight. I don't know, you see Canelo dominating, you see, I don't know who, you know, you see somebody dominating, and now you watch. Now he's dominating. If I was the fighter that just gets wrecked right now, okay, that gets knocked down and stuff, what could I do to beat Canelo, and what could I do to be safe, and what would be now my strategy? How can I now change my strategy to beat Canelo, okay, when I'm in this situation? Now you think, okay, you maybe pause, you think, what could I do? Okay, maybe I see, Canelo does this, you know, Canelo does this mistake and stuff. And this will elevate your fight IQ. So to having this question, what could I throw and how could I beat him? So just the question, what could I throw to beat him and how can I beat him? What can I do? Like move around and stuff. What can I do to beat him? And now the second thing is just generally, what combinations could I throw? So when I watch a fight, sometimes and this is probably what really developed my fight IQ. I just watch fights, okay? And I think, okay, yeah, what could I throw right now? What could I throw right now? Simple. I just watch, what could I throw right now? Okay? And then I just see. I observe. And I see what I can throw. I see where they are open. And I just do it on the spot. The whole round, I'm just thinking, what could I throw right now? What could I throw right now? Okay? That's the next thing. Now, what is passive content or watching? Now, passive content is not as effective as watching it actively, but you also do it whilst you're watching actively, so you get the benefits of it, but you can also do it like passive, okay? Now, what passively means is not what a lot of people are saying, yeah, I watch fights for entertainment. Now, personally, I do not watch fights for entertainment. Again, I solely just watch them for learning something most of the time. I cannot, like, even when I watch UFC, I'm still analyzing, you know, I'm still doing this because it's just a habit of mine to watch it actively. But it's not completely that we watch it out of entertainment when we watch it passively. Of course you can watch it out of entertainment, but it is, yeah, entertainment a bit, but we still want to learn something. But what this means, okay, now I cannot explain this, but it is grasping the style, what they're doing. Not actively focusing on it, but grasping what they're doing. Now, personally, when I watch something passively, I did that with Rico Verhoeven. I don't know how to pronounce this guy, man. But I watched Rico, okay, better to say Rico than his, other name. But I watched Rico, and, you know, I saw myself a few days after, because I watched it a bit passively, just imitating Rico a bit, you know, I'm inspiring and I'm doing some things that Rico does, like moving around like he does, you know, he's a heavyweight, I probably shouldn't do it, but you know, it kind of was like Rico, and that's how I discovered that passive watching, because when you watch them, you kind of actively, but not really, you know, you grasp their style and see what they're doing, and then you imitate it kind of, you know, and this also makes your technique cleaner and a lot better, okay, and this, at my opinion, comes when you have a higher skill level, when you are better, okay? When you do the active first, a lot of active watching, you just get your fight IQ higher up and your skill level, you know, you drill a lot, you put in the reps, and then passive watching is also really effective because you can grasp styles. And so this is what passive watching is, just grasping the style And this also benefits your fight IQ, okay? I again cannot completely explain why, but I've seen myself that it has a lot of benefits. Watching fights passively, grasping the style, and then kind of being like them sometimes, okay? Yo guys, welcome, it's Tim here. After sparring, got the black eye again and I'm just tired. But I just want to say my paid community, Combat School, is in the description. In there you get 24/7 access to me and I will respond to you as quickly as I can and help you with your problems. When you have a problem, you just came out of sparring and you see I did that mistake, let's just ask him, what can I do to make this better? Also, we do group coaching calls where we analyze your training footage and so on. And also we have courses like the Soviet strength and conditioning course. We have a punching biomechanics course, diet course, and more. And a lot of courses are to come. And the price is only 29 bucks a month right now. It's going up soon. So I see you in there. Let's go. And also just grasping what combinations they throw. What do they do, you know? Just how they throw, what combination, what the style, what the pressure is. But just grasping it, you know? This is what it is. And if you have questions about this, because it's pretty hard to explain, just ask them in the comments, okay? Now as well, guys, what helps with developing your fight IQ is first watching fight breakdowns. I do myself fight breakdowns, but a lot of good other YouTubers, just type in fight breakdowns and you will see a lot of good YouTubers doing fight breakdowns. And this will also develop your fight IQ, guys. Watching those fight breakdowns or somebody that knows, that has a fight IQ, you know, and then you just understand it more because somebody helps you understanding it, okay? So watch fight breakdowns and also break down fights yourself when you now develop the fight IQ or to develop your fight IQ. I find it more effective when I record myself because I like speaking, you know, but maybe for a lot of people it's not the case. You do not need to upload them, but when I break fights for myself, then sometimes I just record them, you know. I don't know why. But it also helps when you do fight breakdowns yourself and watch fight breakdowns of other people. Now the last thing is mining techniques from high-level fighters. Now first of all, again, it is analyzing fights and seeing what the fighters are throwing in those fights. You know, really analyzing their technique and seeing maybe they're doing something different than a lot of people. Or maybe they're using a technique that a lot of people do not use. You know, you can, for example, watch like Tarzan the Freeze, one of my favorite fighters, glazing him all day long on this channel, man. But, you know, Tarzan the Freeze uses the kick to jab. So he uses the kick, he's kicking and then jabbing, you know? And you can see that he's using this in his fights and just see, oh, maybe I tried out the next sparring. You know, you mind the technique of him now. You saw, okay, what is he drawing? Now I do it myself and see if it works for me. And another thing how you can mind techniques, and this is so easy, guys, bro, just do not overthink it. It is watching YouTube. I made a video lastly like about Rotang. About how Rotang, what Rotang does to keep himself safe, and I give you the technique. You know, you do not need to break them down, I give you the technique. There are a lot of other YouTubers that have videos like this, okay? Lot of YouTubers right now in boxing, you know? And so you can just watch a lot of different YouTubers, you know? Watch a lot of different YouTubers and see what they're doing, and then just watch as many content as you can. Even the fighters themselves have a YouTube channel. Yuki also has a YouTube channel, okay? That's in Japanese, you know, but you can put the English subtitles on. And I learned so much from this YouTube channel. You have like so many fighters these days having YouTube channel that break their techniques down, but also the techniques of other fighters. And you have a lot of like YouTubers that do boxing videos, a lot of coaches and so on, being online and doing videos. So you learn a lot and you can get a lot of techniques and mind a lot of techniques and try them out yourself just by watching YouTube. So guys, I see you back soon. Join Combat School. Again, if you have questions about any technique, if you need new techniques, if you want to get your skill level even higher, join Combat School because I will help you one-on-one if you have problems, you know, if you do not have the solution to one problem, if you do not know how to fix it, or if you want to learn new things, guys, then join Combat School. I see you in there. Look at them, get up, jella, to like Fatada, Chomba, the show, bomb,